Greetings, brethren. I'm going to be doing this study on the difference between the appearings of the Son of Man versus the Son of God. And we'll see how these titles are linked to the different prophecies that speak of the Lord's return in the end time. It doesn't change who Christ is or who Jesus is, but it changes the manifestation and the manner in which he comes forth. So what I will prove to you throughout this study is that whenever the Bible speaks about the Son of Man, it's referring to the physical presence of Jesus himself on the earth, talking to the people, returning in the end when every eye sees him. And then whenever you hear the references to the Son of God, that is speaking of the Christ nature within somebody, the Christ nature coming forth in the end time. There's a coming that you will learn has to do with what I call the secret coming of Christ, and that's when the Son of God appears. It's not when the Son of Man appears. You will find out that whenever it speaks of the Son of Man appearing in prophecies, Jesus will physically manifest himself at that time. So let's just get right into this study, and I will present to you the different verses that speak of the Son of God and the Son of Man, and see if you can see for yourself how the separation is made between a physical and a spiritual manifestation, because this is a key to understanding chronology with a lot of these prophecies in the end time. You know, it talks about the Lord returning on a cloud, in a cloud, and with the clouds. But take note of how it describes that, either as the Son of Man or the Son of God, because that will show you, give you a big clue as to how that manifestation comes forth.
Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him,
Depart hence, and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that thou doest. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world.
For neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Jesus said unto them,
My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it that the works thereof are evil. Go ye up unto this feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come.
When he had said these words unto them, he abode still in Galilee. But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. Then the Jews sought him at the feast, and said, Where is he? And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him. For some said,
He is a good man.
Others said,
Nay, but he deceiveth the people.
Howbeit no man spake openly of him for fear of the Jews. Now about the midst of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple and taught.
Now, did you notice in John chapter 7, when Jesus' brothers asked him to go up to the feast, and he said, No, my time is not yet come, and he said that his time is not yet full come later on, meaning to say the time of his open appearing at Armageddon, when every eye will see him, has not yet full come. And then yet we see that in the midst of the 7-day feast, which is the 70th week of Daniel in type, Jesus does go up to the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. So what he was trying to show his brothers there in type, actually they weren't going to catch on, but he was trying to show us here in the end time that he would go up to this feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. You know, this is the secret coming that Malachi 3 talks about, and other verses you'll see. But what he does is the first place he goes is into the temple and teaches. So he goes into the overcomers. He goes into the two witnesses. He goes into the man-child. These are all symbolic names for this end-time remnant group of believers who Jesus will give this power to, because they were ready, they were watching, they were filled with the oil, and Jesus could trust them then with this double portion of power he had to release in the end time. Okay, now let's look at these different appearings according to the Word. And again, this chart helps you to understand that even though it may not say the Son of Man or the Son of God, you can understand which one it is, either in the spirit or in the natural, by referencing the verse and looking at the context and understanding chronology. Okay, next we're going to look at the parable of the 10 virgins, where the Lord then comes secretly, as it were, to the remnant who were prepared, who were ready to enter into that wedding chamber with him, that bridal chamber. And we know what happens there, brethren. They will be inseminated with the power spoken of in Revelation 11:3. Okay, this is the secret coming, like was spoken of in Malachi 3:1 and in John 7:14. This is not the same coming that happens at Armageddon, which I believe is referenced further down in Matthew 25:13, where it says, "Watch ye therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh." So again, it's put on the emphasis, but it's that verse I believe is saying, if you didn't catch the secret coming, if you weren't watching for that, you're probably going to miss when I come openly to at Armageddon, and I'm going to have to come back to you as a thief and do a lot of bad things like remove your lampstand and such and such.
And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest be there not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
So we just saw in Matthew 25 where there was a group of Christians who were ready and entered in when Christ secretly returned, and yet another group of Christians who weren't ready, who were sleeping, and who did not have the extra oil, the extra relationship they should have had with them in the end, that they don't get to enter in. They come back and they were out trying to get that oil, which is only bought by prayer and fasting and seeking God's face and having a relationship with him, and they're cast out. I believe this is the same woman that's found in Revelation 12:6, who has to flee into the wilderness for the 42 months. And then those Christians who were ready, who entered in, who are the man-child, who are the two witnesses, who are the overcomers, well, they feed her there for those 42 months. They protect her, I believe, somewhat, and they feed her spiritually and probably naturally. Now let's look here at this first secret appearing found in Malachi 3:1, when the Lord secretly returns to his human temple.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming, and who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap.
So as you see, even in Malachi here, there's a distinction made between time periods. But you have to know what you're looking for, brethren, or you'll just group it all together as one time slot. We see this when Malachi speaks of this coming of the Lord, that he's going to return to his temple suddenly. But then again, it says, but who may abide the day of his coming? And again, if you study that out, brethren, every time it talks about the day of the Lord, it's Armageddon. And who shall stand when he appeareth? And here again, this is when every eye sees him, when he comes forth at Armageddon to save Israel. Okay, so on this chart you've been looking at, it shows the division of four time periods that happen in the end time. We've been talking about the seeker coming, which I know many of you may not have heard of, and then we've been talking about Armageddon, which you all understand and have heard of. But there's one that comes in the middle, and it's when the two witness company man-child group are killed, and then 3.5 days later the Lord resurrects them and they're called up to heaven. This is another appearing, but the verses speak of him appearing on a cloud.
And I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud,
Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped.
So here is an appearing of the Son of Man. So it is actually Jesus on a cloud, as it were, but he does not come down to earth. He does not manifest where every eye sees him. He stays in this place, and he calls up these two witnesses, this man-child group that were just martyred. 3.5 days later, it says that a voice from heaven calls them up, and they ascend up to heaven in a cloud. And that's the great cloud of witnesses. And the dead who were in Christ got to be resurrected at the same time. They all go up and meet the Lord in the cloud, in the spirit, as it were. But everybody sees this. This is a physical thing that people see. It's not the rapture, as you people all think, because this is only for those who were dead and then resurrected. This first harvest is also called just the harvest of the earth. You'll see what's coming up here is called the harvest of the vine of the earth.
And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying,
Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God.
So if you were able to follow the timeline chart that I showed you previously, you'll understand that when that first harvest comes forth, that's the two witnesses being called up after their 42-month ministry. This is the time when the vials are poured out and when the wrath of the Lamb comes forth. And then after that, Jesus and the armies in heaven physically come back at Armageddon to fight the wicked armies and the peoples of the world that still refuse to repent. So in closing this short study, I just want you brethren to understand the different appearings that the Bible shows for the end time. That you've just been taught that there's basically only one appearing when the Lord comes back and people get raptured, and there's Armageddon and all this. You clump everything together, but that's not how the Bible lays it out. The Bible is very specific and detailed on these comings, and I believe that these labels, these titles of the Son of Man and the Son of God help to bring forth that understanding of the chronology of the different appearings of the Lord and how he will appear and who he will appear to, those people who have been prepared and those who are watching. So I thank you for watching this study, and God bless you all.